Blog Talk Radio.
Sometimes you look right through me. Your kisses feel like lies. So tell me what's going on. You keep me hanging on. Can't get inside your brilliant mind. Tell me, how can I get to you? Be the girl that inspires you. Unlock all the love you have inside. Oh, I just want the realness of your love. And I just want to feel like forever ain't enough. Got love to prove. You haven't really kissed me in quite a while. It's like you think you'll never lose me. My affection cramps your style. So tell me what's going on. You keep me hanging on. Inside your brilliant mind, tell me, how can I get to you? Be the girl that inspires you. Unlock all the love you have inside. Oh, I just want the realness of your
Wow, what a beautiful song. That was Realness of Love by singer-songwriter Krista Richards, who will be joining us today as our guest. But first, I'd like to welcome everyone to Conscious Talk Radio. I'm your host, Linda Summers, and we've got a wonderful show for you today. Our topic is Journey Through Love, again with singer-songwriter Krista Richards. And before I bring her on board, I'd like to give you a little bit of background and information about her. Passionate about life and love, singer and songwriter Krista Richards empowers her songs and lyrics, as you just heard, with an unmistakable and infectious feel for not only the music she creates, but the connection the music allows her with people everywhere. Writing and singing from such a deep place of compassion and love has won Krista a wide and loyal fan base and captured the attention of musicians and producers worldwide. Her smooth, sexy voice, electrifying presence, and amazing connection with her audience makes Krista one of the most passionate and evocative vocalists in the scene today. And with that, I'd love to welcome Krista to the show. Hi, Krista.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Great. How are you? Oh, my gosh.
Thank you so much for having me today on your birthday, no less. Everybody, it's Linda's birthday. So I think I should sing happy birthday. Everybody can sing along wherever you're at. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Linda. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much. And what a gift. What a gift. I have seen you sing, and if anybody's listening, everyone that is listening and everyone that would be listening afterwards, let me tell you, this woman is incredible, and it is so true. You sing from the depths, but it's so much more for you. And that's what this is going to be such a wonderful conversation about this journey through love, because this song, the realness of love, and it's what everybody wants, and it's what can heal, and we're going to talk about that. And I love it. And so thank you for who you are and what you're doing in the world. Really.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that acknowledgement, and thank you for seeing me. And the singing from that depth, like you just mentioned, really comes from going through the depths and really traveling through that, going through that entire journey. And I'm still going through it, and we're all going through it. And I feel like that what you're able to witness when I am singing, when you were there with me live, I really, think that I know that comes from all the wounds and the scars and the healing and that whole process. And I'm really passionate about that, and passionate about bringing that through the songs and through my process, and allowing that to be something that other people can then see themselves inside of. And so thank you for having me here today to talk about that.
You're welcome, which I would really like to, if you want to share about that because you said it's a process that you have gone through, but you're still going through. So can you share with us a little bit about that, this journey through love?
Yeah. The EP series that I've been working on about halfway through now came to me one day. I just was in meditation, and it just came through that I should do this EP series, and it will be a journey through love, and it's 4 different EPs. And an EP stands for extended play, if anybody out there doesn't know what that is. So, back in the day we had a full record, which is like a single, and then extended play has like 3 or 4 to 5 songs on it. So these are small little albums where they have 4 songs and a spoken word each. And the first one I released is called Passion. And those songs are representative of that aspect of love where we're falling in love, and we're in the throes of maybe a new romance or something that's really wonderful and playful and exciting and new. And that's touching on that aspect of it, which is wonderful and all part of it, right? And this next EP that I am getting ready to release at the end of April, Broken. And that is where we get to explore the shadow side of love. We get to explore the frustrations and the yearning and maybe the heartache or the heartbreak. Maybe there's a loss, right? That song that we played at the beginning of the show, Realness of Love, is on that EP. And that song really, I feel, represents, it encompasses what that message is, which is like that moment where you're like, I just want the realness of love. This isn't it. Or I'm hurting from the loss of something, and I'm just in this space where I just am so an angst almost, and also just taking a stand. During the bridge, I say, I didn't come here just to, I came here to love all of you and be loved by you, all of me. And so it's really just taking that stand for what we really want in love, and if what we're experiencing isn't it. And so going through all of those emotions. The third piece, which will be the EP that I'll be working on after this one, is going to be called Dream. And that, for me, the vision of that for me is when we move through that heartache and we move through that shadow and we allow the lessons that we got through those processes, we allow whatever we gained from those relationships or from that heartache or from those tears, and we allow that to then feed the soil of our heart and allow us to rediscover and redefine and recreate newly for ourselves, what do we want love to be? Who do we want to be? Who do we want to be inside of love? Like, what kind of person do we want to show up as inside of our next loving relationship? And what kind of lover are we looking for? And really all of that comes from, and I think we can all agree to this, right? All of that comes from all of those past love relationships where we may have discovered something about ourselves, we may have discovered something about our partner that we may have really loved, or maybe we didn't so much appreciate, and we want to alter that for the future. And so it's really about taking all the things that we've learned, and it's about taking that heartache with us and then saying, okay, what is love now, and who do I want to be? And so those songs will be about that journey and about the recreation of love and the rebirthing of love through the ashes and through the ashes of that breakdown from before that. And then the final piece will be called Awake, and that one will be songs that are representative of that point in the journey in which we have that recognition and that realization that we are love, that we are love. Yeah. We are the embodiment of love in this life. We're whole and complete, and we are we're that divine love incarnate. And so it's really coming full circle through all of that. And, we might go through it in that order, and we might go back again. We might come in and out and circle through, right?
Yeah.
And it's all perfect.
Right. But I think that's, well, I was going to say, it sounds like that when you were talking about the passion, the broken, the dream, and the awake, it sounds, and I don't want to make it a step process, but it really is where you have there's this passion that you feel, but I think that's where, in defining love and really knowing what love is, and not coming from a place of need, not coming from a place of filling a void that we have to fill a void, that we're wanting someone else to fill that void, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you've broken it down, like the passion and the broken and the dream and the awake, and then defining that. It's like the dream, when you said that, it sounded like the phoenix rising.
Yes.
And that's what I envisioned when you said that, so it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And like some of these might be intertwined. Like we might have that awake moment where we recognize that we are love incarnate as we are rising through the ashes and rediscovering love and finding it. You know what I mean? It might all be intertwined, but I just broke them out as these different points or different moments or different, like times that we might be having that experience of, when I wrote a song called I Know What Love Is, and it's not actually on this EP. It might actually be I might actually put it on Dream. But I had this moment where I was listening to, I think I was listening to Pandora, Spotify. I was listening to a bunch of 90s R&B. And maybe I'm dating myself a little bit there, but I just love 90s R&B, right? So I'm listening to this 90s R&B. And I'm listening to lyrics I'm listening to the lyrics in my room, and I'm just listening to that, and I'm going, wow, that's awesome. This way that they're describing love, I'm really into it, and I'm really feeling that. And I was thinking about my current relationship at that moment now, but back at that point, I'm like, wait, what I'm experiencing, that's not this. What they're singing about right now is not what I'm experiencing right now. And it gave me clarity to recognize that the relationship I was in was not fulfilling me. It wasn't nourishing my soul. It wasn't the partnership that I really wanted and was standing for myself. And so, of course, I curled up into a ball on my bed and I cried.
Yeah.
I just allowed myself to be with the emotion of sadness and recognizing that I wasn't in the love that I really wanted. And then I went downstairs and I wrote a song called I Know What Love Is, and where I just talked about, hey, I know what love is. It's like this, and it's like this, and it feels like this, and it looks like this, and I'm not going to let myself settle for anything less than that. And, you know, I really wanted to just make the comment and note that I let myself curl up in a ball and cry, because it's so important that we don't rob ourselves of any piece of this process through love. And part of that is the tears. Part of that is that grief and letting ourselves feel.
Right.
Because it's like the bridge that gets us to the other side. Like that, me crying got me super present to what was missing, so that I could go and recreate what I wanted it to be, and I can envision that, because we're the creators of our life.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you felt it, and I think that's what you're really trying to say, you know, and what you did is in feeling that and recognizing and bringing it to your own awareness, you know, you actually felt it, and I think that's what really was singing and anything, the kind of the arts, is that connection and to feel that. But when you can really feel that at such a deep level and then have an awakening from that, and the two key words you said were fulfillment and nourishing. And I feel like a lot of women, I'm sure men as well, but, you know, we're nurturers and we're lovers and, you know, we're sensual beings and things like that, but we're all made out of love. So there really isn't a distinction between male and female, because we all are really loved. But, you know, I think just how men and women differently handle it. So what do you feel in that aspect as of taking the genders of the male and the female and bringing that love aspect into it?
Yeah. Well, I've also been on a journey of really educating myself and learning about the dynamics between masculine and feminine. I found myself really processing through that through some of my relationships, and I found myself in a relationship that the man that I was with was more in his feminine, and so I got more into my masculine. And it got really out of balance because I got really into my masculine, because he was like, oh, whatever you say, kind of, you know. And so I was like, oh. And then it really got to this point where I was kind of running the show, and that was really not empowering for him, and it wasn't working for me. And so I saw how that was getting out of balance. That was my first real insight into how that occurs. So after that relationship, I immediately sought out somebody who was very much in his masculine, right? And not necessarily consciously, or maybe slightly, but really kind of more of an unconscious level. Like, I need to get back into my feminine, and I need to really get into it, right? So I sought someone out that would allow me to really sink into my feminine, and it felt really good to get back there. And then I found that, you know, that was a little out of balance too, because he was a little too dominating and he was just not right. And so I was like, okay, well, this doesn't feel right either. And so and it's like, then after that, I was like, let me find something where it's balanced, where I can be my feminine essence and I can lean towards my feminine side, but also be able to assert myself and have a voice, and be with a man who's in his masculine but also knows how to be tender and loving and kind. And I think that's kind of where we're all at right now as a humanity and as a community, is we're in that space of finding that dance where we can find that partner that we can dance with inside of the masculine and feminine, and we can each tap into both sides of ourselves while honoring one another. And it's a beautiful challenge, but you know, when we can nail it with someone, it's quite juicy.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, and I just think, you know, again, going back to what you were talking about, to really feel into each aspect of love, and, you know, to when you're really feeling that and allowing yourself to actually really feel, as opposed to what we want to do is not show our feelings and try to be strong. And that's what I feel your music is really letting people to know is connecting and feeling. And there's a healing, because you mentioned also healing, to heal and restore that which requires, to heal and restore with love,
Yeah.
So when you talk about restoring with love, what do you mean by that?
Restoring with love, is that what you're? When you heal and restore that which requires it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
I'm reading my own words here. So that the journey that we're taking through love, I really feel like it's the process of we're healing ourselves. We're healing ourselves. We're healing each other. Our greatest physicians and teachers are the others, right? Are one another. We're holding the space, and we're holding up the mirror for that processing and reflection process for one another that allows us to really heal and just continue our path towards wholeness. And the restoration, I think, really digs back into our past, oftentimes back into our childhood. What kind of love example were we given? How were maybe some of us were violated or, in a sexual way, or just maybe had our hearts broken or were rejected as children from parents or friends or loved ones or, young boyfriends and girlfriends throughout, our younger years. And so as we grow into adulthood and we go through our journey of love as adults, there's healing and restoration to take place. Right. There are wounds still. And some of them may be early childhood, and some of them may be, a little later in life, but there's definitely wounds there. I know personally I've had so much to overcome. I was very, my journey through love as a child and as a teenager was tumultuous, to say the least. I was very, my father died when I was 5 years old. And so from a very young age, I didn't have a father figure showing me what love, how to love a woman. I didn't have that example of a man loving my mother. And so I went into my adolescence without that example and without the love of a father. It really, now that I can look back on it, I can see how it really had an impact. Because at a very young age, I was very much looking for someone to love me. And when I was 16, a 20-year-old wanted to date me, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then I was pressured into having sex with him at 16 years old, and got pregnant right away. And that's how I lost my virginity and experienced love for one of the first times. Was in that state. Yeah. What was that?
What you thought was love.
What I thought was love, what I was seeking as love. And so when he said, "Oh, you have to do this thing. You have to, this is you've turned me on, and so your responsibility now is to do X, Y, Z."
Right.
And at 16 years old, I was like, I guess I have to. I didn't really understand. And afterwards, I felt awful, and it wasn't, I didn't feel good about it, but, it was too late. I was already pregnant at 16 years old, and so then I was pregnant for 9 months of my teenage years. I didn't date, I didn't see anybody, and then I had a baby, and I gave him up for adoption, and that was another part of my journey right there, loving. I've never loved another human being as much as I loved that child that I gave birth to.
Right.
And then I handed him over to someone else to raise. That was at 16 years old, or almost 17 years old, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Wow. And then coming out of that heartache and grieving the loss of giving up a child, and then looking at myself at 6, 17, 18 years old, going, who am I? What is I spent 2 years of my teenage years being pregnant, giving birth, and recovering from that. So now here I am, 18, 19 years old, looking around going, okay, who's going to love me?
Right.
And I could go on and on and on from there. I had a couple abusive kind of things going on, and really, really traumatic experiences there. But it was just one thing after another. So I just want to share. I'm sharing a little bit about this past of mine so that people can maybe get an understanding of, like, I sing about love from this place of having really gone through some stuff, to put it PG on the radio, you know. And I'm so grateful for every single bit of it. I wouldn't change it. I know that I can love as deeply as I love because felt through the depths. I've had heartache that could rip the fabric of space and time. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so grateful for every person that I've loved and every person that's loved me. I'm so grateful for the heartache. I'm grateful for every tear that I've cried because it has allowed me to be the brave, courageous, intense lover that I am.
Exactly. And helping everybody else to feel that love, to really feel the love within themselves and to find out, you know, who they really are and coming from that space. So your journey is so powerful that it helps other people that are listening, you know, for wherever they're at in their lives, is to really come to that place. Because we're all, you know, we're love and light, you know, we're beings of love. And I think it's in that defining of the love. And through your story, you're really sharing with that love of what you thought love was, but how you've come to find out really what love was or really is, you know. And so it's powerful.
Yeah, the journey, and everyone's journey looks slightly different, but it's all perfect. You know, it really is all perfect. And I just, wherever anyone is at that's listening to this right now, I want to just drive home that wherever you're at, wherever your heart is at, it's perfect. This is all part of the process, and, you know, just be with it. You know, feel through it. Let yourself cry if the tears are what's wanting to come through, and laugh if laughter is what's there. And, you know, I'm very blessed at this moment in time, and it's taken many years to get here, but I feel like I'm in now with the love of my life, and he treats me in such a beautiful way. And it came from, I know that what the final piece was for me to actually be able to receive this type of love is when I truly loved myself. Yeah. Yeah. And I recognize my worthiness. And I know that we talk about that a lot, and it can kind of just get like lost in the sauce. But there is the utmost power in that moment when we truly see ourselves as divine. We truly see ourselves as perfectly imperfect. You know, none of us is perfect, but we are perfectly imperfect. And we are worthy of the most divine, beautiful, supportive love. So when I got that is when my beloved entered into my world, and I'm so grateful for him. So.
And it's so beautiful, absolutely so beautiful. And, you know, your music, and I think music in general, is very healing. You know, it can be really, if we're really tuned into the music and really feeling it, like you said, it can heal. So I'm sure people have come up to you and said, oh, my gosh, like that really changed my life. You know, there's so many aspects of music that just, it's incredible. Like when you really do feel it and you really have that connection, that a lot of things can actually happen for people. So I love that. Well,
that is why I do that's why I do what I do.
Yeah. Well, and we thank you because you're such a beautiful and you just exude love with just who you are and through your music, and you know, just really thank you so much for what you bring to the world. So really, really appreciate that. And what is one thing, you've said so many things that I think anybody listening can so benefit from that, but also sharing, another thing actually, if you want to share, what's one thing in your journey that you can share with the listeners that has really helped you, that you had mentioned about feeling and expressing and really coming into your own? What else would you really want to say to them, giving them a message?
I would just say listen. Because I can look back on a lot of moments of my history through love where I heard that voice inside of me saying, this isn't it, or move on or love yourself enough to break free of whatever the situation that you're in, so on and so forth. Whatever the intuition was, and I didn't listen right away, and I stayed past the close, and because of comfort or because of fear, and I would just say, listen, push through the fear into surrender, let go, jump off of the cliff into the clouds below, and trust that you will be held, you will be received. There is a soft pillow blanket down there for you to land on that the divine has. So just trust and listen.
I love that. Well, thank you, Krista, so much for sharing yourself, your music, your love with all of us, and inspiring us to really come into loving ourselves. And I love that. Listening is so key. It really is. So thank you again so much for being here. We really appreciate you and all that you're doing for the world and everybody. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda. Happy birthday. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I love you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. We love you, too. And we want to thank all the listeners out there who also joined us today and the ones who will be joining us via YouTube. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. Please follow, subscribe, comment, and like us. And you can join me next week, February 4th, for the next show. The guys will tell us what to expect in 2016 with Sarah Renee. So thank you again, Krista, so much. We love you. We love what you're about, and you're just an amazing soul. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Love, love, love.
All right. Love. Bye.
Bye.